We were talking in
Thank you.
the last section, at the very end. You mentioned what is often a very touchy, difficult subject, and that's regime change. Now, based on what you're seeing, and again, based on all the experience that you've had over the years, do you think that that is a possibility, or is that just something that is a hoped for byproduct that is not going to materialize?
I would say one thing for sure: we are not going to see the Syrian amazing collapse of the regime in 3 days, simply because there there is no a real opposition in Iran. We don't have those militias that we have seen in Idlib in the north, where Erdogan just put a glue on them and tied them together, and they start driving their Toyota SUV towards Damascus, and in 3 days we saw the collapse of the regime. That won't happen. We have some militias in Iran. We have some with Kurdistan. We have some the Mujahideen Khalq, which are secular militias, and we have the Baluchis militias, but they're very weak, and they don't have the power to overcome this regime. The turnover can be in two ways. First of all, internal coup, either by the military or the army, which is in a way its adversary to the Republican Guards, or within the Republican Guards, or within the higher echelon of Iran, assuming that Khamenei is no longer possesses the power that he had before. This is one alternative, and it's very feasible. And I can just imagine that there are some sort of contacts between foreign intelligence services and some prominent people within the regime. Okay, and I don't want to elaborate on that. Now, the other option is, of course, something that comes from the internal, from the boiling reluctancy of the Iranian people toward the regime. And we have to know the facts. The Persians are only 40% of the Iranian population. We're talking about around 92 million people. They're only 40%. They're Baluchis, Turkmenistan, Azeris, whatever. It's not a real nation in a way that you look at America and you look at in Europe or something like this. It's some sort of a rough combination that will gather to somehow, and it's volatile. It can collapse also and be disintegrated into different nation. Now, I'll give you just an example of what could have happened and what should have happened. About 3 weeks ago, there was a strike in Iran of truck drivers. The strike was because of fuel shortage, and it's unbelievable. Iran is the second world's biggest natural gas supplier, and so on. It engulfed around 450,000 truck drivers in 155 cities. Now, they were on strike, and it was a huge challenge to the regime because they had hardly ways to handle it. But they ran out of money. And they ran out of money, and they went back to work. Now, just imagine if there was some fund, even external fund, that could have fund this and elevate this strike in order to get more people into it, and maybe like we've seen in 2009 during the Obama period, and in 2022 with the Amini and the hijab. So they need external support, but the external support cannot replace the Iranian people, which means we cannot dictate from outside to the Iranians their faith. They have to take their faith into their own hand, but we can assist it, we can elevate it, we can help that, not just by words of comfort and clapping heads to the bravery of the people, but more into a much more involvement. And we should, I think, work towards this goal, and it's feasible because the don't you have to remember the regime now is in worst position since August 1988, the end of Iraq war. It's weak, it's vulnerable, it's penetrated. They are in state of panic, and so we should just hit with the nail on this war in order to crack it. It will take time. It will not be month, 2 months or so, and it will take time, but it's possible.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment, a really positive, nice, and kind comment. That would be appreciated. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our daily updates.